Good morning, it's 6 a.m. and I'm on the Northlink ferry. We're on the final approach to Aberdeen. I've been searching for a camera angle where I don't look half dead, and I think it's just these really harsh lights that are not doing me any favours. I swear in the mirror I don't look that bad. But yeah, we set off just before 7 p.m. last night. It's 6 a.m. right now. We're due to arrive in Aberdeen at 7 a.m. But yeah, the last thing you'll have seen is me packing up the car. I had these grand plans of like filming driving away from the house, but it was snowing. It was snowing in May when I left the house in Shetland, and that just made getting into the car all kinds of hectic because I'd already packed all of my coats because it's May. So I was running around in the snow trying to get everything in without getting too wet, to try to carry her to the car without getting too wet. So yeah, I did not have a chance to film anything. Normally I don't really bother like doing anything with my face when I'm getting off the ferry, but from here I'm heading straight to go and get the keys to my new house. The ferry journey actually went really well and I managed to get a pretty decent night's sleep. Those cots are not very comfy at the best of times. It's not even as wide as a single bed, and then because Sika gets a little bit scared, I have to share. You can't see her because she's hidden. There she is. I have to share the cot with her. She won't go on the other cot, so it's an already not very comfortable place to sleep, and then I'm like contorting my body around her because obviously she gets the prime sleeping position. The movers are also on this ferry, so they'll be getting to the house today as well. Got no window in this cabin, which is I've not enjoyed it. I felt a little bit claustrophobic, to be honest, but I had to book really last minute and I needed a dog friendly cabin, and the only ones they had were the inner berth ones, so we took it. So I can't see where we are, but we're obviously very close to Aberdeen now. I wouldn't be surprised if we're like already in the harbour, because it takes quite a while to come like all the way through the harbour to the end point where we dock. And to show you in better lighting that it didn't look as horrendous as they did with the weird lighting that you had over there. And this is our little cabin. Alright. I'm probably going to be too frazzled to update you much on the drive, so maybe the next time I see you will be at the new house. You guys, I cannot believe I am saying this, but I am sitting in my first ever home that I have bought. I have bought my first ever home and I'm sitting in it right now, and I don't think it's... When does it feel real? I don't know. When does it sink in? I'm not really sure. I picked up the keys about 5 hours ago. I really wanted to film the whole thing like a movie, like film arriving at the house for the first time. I wanted to film bringing the movers in, getting all my stuff in the house, but it's just been it's been a lot. It's been a whirlwind. I mean, aside from the super long journey, how long it took me to get here, it's currently Monday the 11th of May. I set off yesterday, Sunday the 10th of May at 4 p.m. I had a 20-minute drive to an inter-island ferry that takes about 20 minutes to get onto the main island of Shetland, about a 45-minute drive down to the ferry terminal, and then I boarded the ferry at about 5:30, probably 5:45, I'm not sure, in the evening, and then the ferry departed Lerwick at 6:45 in the evening, and we arrived in Aberdeen at 7 a.m. this morning, which is when I disembarked. and it was about a 4-hour drive to the estate agents to pick up the keys, which was super quick. It was just, I walked in, I said, hello, I'm here for the keys, and they said, there you go. And that was that. The house had already completed a few days prior, so I don't have to worry about that happening on the day that I travelled. So I got the keys, and then it was about a 20-minute drive to the house, and oh, I wanted to film it so badly. The drive in was beautiful. Now, don't get me wrong, I've loved Shetland so much, but the beauty of Shetland is in the vastness. It's very big and it's very stark, and the beauty of Shetland is in the shape of the land against the sea and the sky, but there's not much detail, and having just come out of winter, there's not much colour. I mean, it snowed yesterday in Shetland. When I was trying to pack up the car, it was snowing. So there's really only 2 seasons in Shetland. You get spring and summer. Spring and summer? Crikey, I'm tired. You get winter and summer in Shetland, and that's it. And apparently they've not quite come out of winter yet. But yeah, to arrive and to have, I mean, the whole drive here through Scotland was absolutely stunning. But then especially, I guess, because I was taking it in more, heading from the town where the estate agent is to the little village. Bless you. Secret was sneezing. Heading from the town where the estate agent is to the little village that I'm in, taking in that drive. Bless you. I mean, obviously I've driven through beautiful countryside before, but knowing that that was the drive into my home, like my home, this is my home. It was incredible, and like I said, everything feels so vivid here in comparison, and it feels like so much, there's so much detail on all the shapes of the trees and the plants and all the flowers, and everything just felt like it was in Technicolor, like so bright, so detailed, like so much to look at. Also, what I noticed is in Shetland, especially on the island that we lived on, because it was quite small, you could see the sea pretty much everywhere, and that it's not, I don't want to say it made it less special because you could see it all the time, but it was kind of like it's just always there. Whereas obviously I'm in southwest Scotland, so I've driven from Aberdeen, like down southwest to get to where I am. It was a big stretch of being inland, and then that first moment of driving over a hill and seeing the sea, like that always feels special to me. When we used to drive down to Cornwall to go on holiday, we always played a game of who could see the sea first, and shouting out as soon as you could see it, and it always feels so special. Yeah, I don't know, it just feels like this is where I'm meant to be, and the windows in this house are enormous. They are absolutely massive. The ceilings are so tall, the windows are huge, and I'm looking out the window right now and all I can see is trees, and oh, I have missed trees so much. The why of it is a bit bittersweet. I don't want to speak about it too much because I'm not the only person in this situation, but I will say that I have left Shetland alone. I've left Shetland single, which it doesn't feel like that's true yet. So it's very bittersweet because owning my own home is something that I have wanted to do for the last 10 years, and it's like always my biggest dream and my biggest goal, and I've finally achieved it, and I'm so happy and I'm so proud. But the reason this has happened is because something else came to an end. But I feel like I've grieved. I've been wallowing, I've been hibernating, I've been hiding offline. If you saw the last video I put out, I'm not even sure how I managed to film that amidst everything that was going on, because everything was going on during that period, and then I had weeks of wallowing, and then I managed to edit that together and put it out, and then I hid again. So if you commented on that video, thank you so much. I just didn't have the mental headspace to look at them. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have put the video out, but I made it and I liked it. So I posted it, but I didn't really, wasn't really in the right like emotional state. I felt a bit vulnerable to be, you know, checking comments and talking to people, but I will try and reply to everybody. I've been talking for 9 minutes and I don't know how much of this is going to go in. I more just want to document how I'm feeling right now. Like I said, obviously I wanted to film more of the process of arriving and getting here and filming the things happening, but it was very overwhelming. The journey here was so long, I was so tired. And then came in the house and all the power was off, and I had to figure out why all the power was off, and it took a long time to sort, and I was doing that while the movers were here, and there was a lot going on, and I was absolutely exhausted. So this is, I guess, yeah, it's more like just a video diary. I just want to document like how I feel right now, because this is very momentous. This is my first day in my new home, and I'm still super tired, and as much as I would like to just collapse for the evening, I think I need to do future me a favour and unpack. I'm so tired. I need to unpack a couple of kitchen boxes. I need to like give the inside of the cupboards a bit of a clean, the sides, and at least like get my kettle out and like a few things, so when I wake up in the morning I can just make a cup of tea and like grab some breakfast, and I'm not like having to do all that before I can get started. So that's what I'm gonna do now, I think. So I've wiped down the top cupboards, I've wiped down the side, and that's it so far. I've still got the bottom cupboards and all those over there, and I do want to give it like a deep clean, like a proper scrub, but this is all I have the energy for right now. I just wanted to give it like just a quick wipe so I can put my things out. I'm probably not going to put any of them away just yet because I'm not fully sure where I want everything to go. I've got like an idea. Like I think this is going to be cups and glasses and stuff over here, but I'm not fully sure. So I think I might just get everything out in the kitchen and then like see where I want things to go. I don't know if I'm going to do any more tonight, to be honest. I'm so tired. But like, I've got things out. I've got my kettle out so I can make a cup of tea in the morning. Like, it's a little bit better. I don't know, I'm so tired. Maybe we'll just go and have another sit down for a minute. Maybe I could have a cup of tea now. Yeah, I don't know. Everything stopped working. Yeah, I don't know. Hi MTV and welcome to my crib. Okay, that was cheesy, but I couldn't resist. So it's actually been a few days now. I don't know when I last talked to you. I think I might have last talked to you on Tuesday. It's actually Friday now, and I was planning on doing the full unpacking of this house with you guys, but it was just a lot. It was just a lot. Also, it's period week for me. I've just started my period. I felt like I looked super gross and like I was just, I don't know, it was just a lot. But I'm feeling a lot more settled into the house now. Like I said, I've had a few days. I'm in a bit more of a normal routine. I'm sleeping on an airbed which has now arrived. I did my first 2 nights on the sofa. My airbed's now been delivered, so I'm in the bedroom in an airbed feeling kind of more normal. The kitchen's unpacked so I can use that like a normal kitchen like I normally would. So yeah, I'm feeling like quite settled into the house now. But today I am unpacking my office, which is in this room behind me, and I thought we would do that together because that's where all my books are and all the fun stuff. I've basically moved here with next to nothing. The last house that I rented before we went to Shetland, when I moved into that house, I had nothing. And you know, it was like the TV was on the floor, I was sitting on the floor, like I had nothing. And I was there for about 2 years and I managed to fill that house in the 2 years. I got very thrifty. It taught me a lot about like shopping secondhand, and it really helped me to find my personal style actually shopping secondhand. Like I think if I could have afforded to just buy new things, I wouldn't have developed my own taste as strongly. But anyway, I managed to fill that house in 2 years. But then when we went to Shetland, I didn't take a lot of my furniture with me because we just didn't need it. But now obviously I've left. I need my own furniture again. So I'm starting pretty much from scratch. I've got my office furniture. That was mine. I took it to Shetland. That's obviously come back with me. And I've got a sofa. It's a small sofa and a coffee table and one chest of drawers upstairs, and that's it. So I'm starting with a blank slate again. I'm starting from scratch. So we're going to be over the next few months doing lots of Facebook marketplace shopping and charity shopping, thrift shopping, going to antique stores. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being able to decorate and start again, fill the house up again. So I think that's enough blabbering on for now. Let's go into the office and I'll show you what we're working with in here. Okay, we'll do this POV style. I think it's going to be the easiest way to show you. So as you come in the door, we've got, I've popped my little cabinet down here. Most of the walls in this room are like a really pale blue at the moment. We've got a lovely big window here which looks out onto my back garden, which is just adorable. I've popped my desk. Ooh, let's readjust to the light. That's a bit better. So I popped my desk by the window so that when I'm working I can just gaze out into the garden. And then as we pivot around over on this wall, I've got my tall bookcase. There's plenty of room for more bookcases, which I'm very excited about. All of my office things waiting to be unpacked. I've got some built-in cupboards over here. This back wall is yellow for now, and then I've just stood my small bookcase down here. So I'm very excited to get all these boxes unpacked, to get my books back out and back on the shelves. I also think this room is probably going to be the first room that I decorate when it comes to like painting and wallpapering and stuff. One, because it's the most close to being finished furniture wise. Like obviously I'll be picking up maybe a few more cupboards, a few more bookshelves to go in here, but I've got the most complete amount of furniture in here. And I've also got the strongest vision for how I want to decorate this room. I think because my desk chair and the top of my desk are green, I'm going to stick with like a green theme, but because this is my first house and because I'm living alone again and I don't have to ask a man, it's gonna be a girly pop house. It's gonna be very whimsical and floral, so I'm gonna go for like green in here, but I think it's gonna be like a green and pink theme. I'm thinking of like painting the walls green and then having like paneling on the wall and some like nice pink flowery wallpaper like inside the panels, if that makes sense. I'm not really sure. At some point we'll see it as I do it, but yeah, it's gonna be a pink and green room. I've got a really like strong vision for it, so this will probably be the first one that I decorate. But with that being said, I guess I better start. I don't know where to start. I suppose I'll just pick a box and open it. I guess, does it make sense to do my books first? I don't know where to start. Let me put you somewhere where you can see, and I'll just have a potter. This says miscellaneous. It's a very miscellaneous. I can put this to the side for now. I'm feeling like anything that's not a box of books is probably going to have to go in that cupboard, really. Let me try and dig out the one that's for my desk, so we can put my desk stuff away. I'm really sure it's over here. This is ornaments. Say what it is, and that says heavy books. Heavy books. Let's move this. Oh my goodness. Must have had a lot in my desk drawers. Found it. Okay, yeah, so now I have to try and remember, because I really liked the way I had my desk drawers before. I've got to try and remember. I've got blue light glasses. I'm pretty sure they went in a top drawer somewhere in case I'm like getting a bit of eye strain while I'm working. This has got some stamps and miscellaneous. I was treating this top drawer kind of like a letter writing drawer, so I've got all my envelopes in there and paper, stamps, anything I can write letters with. I really want a pen pal, by the way, if you know of where I could find one. Miscellaneous, small bag of sewing supplies, and then this contains all my like ink, which has been cling filmed because I did not trust it in the move. Then I've got fine liner pens and these like thinner highlighters, bigger highlighters. I should have taken pictures of all of my drawers. Okay, tip then, if you happen to be just about to move out and you really like your desk drawer setup, take a picture inside every drawer so you remember it, because I feel like I got this, like, I was really happy with how I had it set up. Okay, so this is all like letter writing stuff. I've also got a little book of prayers, which is really nice, just having my desk drawer Got my envelopes. Little quill pen. Do you want to sit on my desk? This is my stamp for my books. So when I've read it, I can give it a stamp and then it goes on the bookshelf. A hot glue gun. Also got a label maker, blue tack, calculator, coloured gel pens, coloured pencils, random assortment of rocks. I like this one because it's like a fairy rock. It's got a hole in it. There you go. So supposedly you could look through it and see if there's any fairies. Oops. You could just drop it on the floor. So, rock. Oh, a little pocket map of Shetland, which I guess I don't need anymore. Got Sudoku in case I get bored. And then various journals. This is all of my spare pages for my Filofax, which I have not used my Filofax in months because I started packing up all of my stuff over a month before we moved because I was actually really organised. I didn't want to be like having a mad rush at the end again. So I packed up all my desk stuff and like everything from my office really early, so I didn't have access to the spare pages to like swap out in my Filofax. So I've not used it. I've been just using a regular notebook and writing to-do lists, which was actually like pretty easy, but I'm excited to go back to my Filofax. What is this? I don't think I really used this. I've been writing poems. The sunlight pools in his eyes and they glow like velvet honey or the most precious amber. My heart skips a beat and suddenly I want to live in his world of golden sunrises and everlasting embers. 22nd of January 2024. Confetti swirls through the air, landing in my hair as I step inside, clutching the evidence of my grandmother's life. Birth certificate, passport, marriage license. I am here to register at death, but sitting opposite me is a young couple, a little tired and flustered but bursting with joy as they clutch their newborn baby. I am here to register a death, but they are here to register a life, and somehow that lifts my heavy heart. As I wait, another couple exits, goofy grins and adoring eyes, fresh confetti and laughter in the air. I am witnessing the entire circle of life inside this building, and I am realising that we are all here because of love. All of us. And that's just called Registry Office. I wrote that just after my nan passed. Grief is a funny old thing, isn't it? I've heard it described as love enduring, and that seems fitting to me as these words come pouring. It's been 6 months and I still can't bear to clear her apartment, for it feels like she's still there. I hold her things in my hands and they feel minute. They were much bigger when I was much smaller. I'm keeping all her clothes even if they do not suit, but they still smell like her and it helps me recall her. She can no longer hug me, so I wrap myself in her coat and pretend it's enough to keep me afloat. How are we supposed to process loss, and what does that even mean? Grief and love are one and the same, so it seems rather obscene to try and package it into something clean. The love in our hearts has no end, so for now I will hold her things and simply pretend. I've not written poetry in a long time, but I feel like... I think for me it's a thing when I'm feeling a lot of emotions that's difficult to express. It just like, it comes to me. I don't think it's something I could sit down and like make myself write, but when I've got a lot of big feelings, it really helps. So I will keep this and hopefully write more poetry. What's this one? Recipes. Okay, you belong in the kitchen. And that's the box empty. Fire and Graceling. I don't know if you can see how well read this has been. Anastasia, one of my favourite books that I've read recently. Blood Red Horse was one of my favourite books to read growing up. Book of Wildflowers. That's springish. Animals and plants of Britain and Europe. That seems handy. Another box down. Look. Bougainville series. This 4-book. You had kind of like The Conditions of Will was a 5-star for me. That seems summery. What the River Knows, one of my favourite books from last summer. I'm so excited to read the sequel to this summer. The Executioners 3, I liked that book actually. The Exorcism of Fairies, also one of my favourite books from last year. Okay, so it's a few days later. I really don't know what this video will have ended up being like. I think it feels very higgly-piggly to me right now. I think it's just been a very big like video diary, verbal dump of how I'm feeling, but I think it's quite nice that I managed to document my feelings because this is quite like a momentous time for me. So I think it's been nice to sort of capture like the highs and the lows because it has been a very mixed emotions sort of time, but yeah, it's a few days later now. So I'm feeling quite settled into the house. I feel like my overwhelming feelings at the moment, my final closing thoughts for the video are that I generally feel in life quite a few steps behind everybody else, and not in terms of like life goals or anything like that, just in terms of I feel like I struggle a lot with like day-to-day things, and I get quite anxious in like social situations or like big groups, and I feel like I struggle with things that I look at a lot of other people and I'm like, they seem to be so comfortable in this situation. I'm probably not. I imagine most people are feeling as equally uncomfortable as I am. But I really feel a lot of the time like I get so anxious just doing so many day-to-day things, and that I'm quite a step behind other people in that way. And you know, I find things like big noisy settings and restaurants and group things quite difficult. But then in this week, as I've been like talking to people I know, like friends and family members, a lot of people have said to me like, you're so brave, like I would never have done that on my own and done that big move and moved somewhere brand new completely alone. And I just think that's like, I don't know, interesting, because I often feel like I am much less brave than other people, or find things a lot more difficult. But then something like this is something that I've done that quite a few people have said that they would never ever do. I don't know. I feel like everybody struggles with things, and I used to really try and hide the fact that I got anxious about things, and that would always make it so much worse. And I went through like a course of therapy a few years ago, and one of the biggest things I learned from that was just to talk to people. And every single time since then where I've spoken to people, like I've either gone into the hairdressers and said, or sometimes I get a bit anxious in this situation. For me, it's mostly situations that I feel like I can't leave. Like if I'm in the hairdresser and they've put all of the the dye on my hair and I'm sitting there, and if I start to feel unwell, this is always my thing. I'm always like, I get anxious in situations where I feel like I'm trapped in case I start feeling unwell and then I can't leave. And then because I worry about it, I make myself feel unwell. Whereas if I wasn't worried, I wouldn't feel bad at all. But yeah, like in the hairdresser, if I've got all the dye on my hair and then all of a sudden I start feeling bad, like I can't just get up and leave. And that feeling of being trapped is what makes me feel really uncomfortable. And I always used to sit there and like struggle with it in silence, and then also worry that like the person I'm with might think I'm rude because I'm maybe not being that talkative or like bubbly or whatever, because I'm like got this big like internal battle going on. And then I just remember like one time I went into my hairdresser and I was like, okay, so I feel really anxious in this situation, and like I explained it all to her, and she literally sat down with me and she was like, oh my god, same. Like not in that situation obviously, but like she was like, she started to tell me about so many times that she feels like anxious and uncomfortable and she feels like nobody else does. And this is what I've realized, is that you always think that like everyone else is like totally cool and collected and together, but they're like most of the time really, really not. And if you just open up to people, you'll find that like most people feel uncomfortable in a lot of situations, and it just makes you feel so much more relaxed. That ended up being a really weird tangent. I'm not really sure what I was trying to say with that. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. But all that to say is that it's been a really difficult few months, and I feel like it's been very emotional, obviously processing everything that happened coming out of my relationship, and just given the whole logistics of buying a house, trying to figure it all out alone, especially being like on such a remote island, trying to figure out the logistics of buying a house from so far away. And then my car broke completely. The garage said, don't fix it. And then that was a big panic because I couldn't figure out, like, I was like, well, I need a car to be able to drive off this island. Like, I need to be able to get to my new house. And then that just added a whole extra spanner in the works. So I feel like the last few months have been like really, really stressful and really, really tough. But now it's just done. Now I'm just here and I'm in the house and I can just breathe and relax and enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on this journey with me, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye.